Good afternoon, folks. I'm sitting here with Brian Smith from Innovative Fishing Equipment. Just going to have a chat with him about his new innovative fishing product called the RodAssista and why he thought of it and what it does and who's it for. So, Brian, what made you come up with the idea?
Thanks, Graham. Just watching people on charters struggling with the rod. As people know, when you're fishing, boat fishing or any style of rod fishing, the rod always ends up under your armpit, in the top of your leg, in your gut. Just uncomfortable, hard to use. And so I started going over and just holding the butt of the rod down by people's waist, and that allowed them to get more leverage on the rod and fight the fish. And then one day the light bulb came on and thought, why don't I look into making something that does the job? So
Right, well, I've been there and done that with the fishing rod, of course.
Yeah.
And the other thing I found in my career of fishing, which isn't really a career, is the front gimbals give my stomach and my back a really hard time, particularly when you're catching decent-sized kingies and so forth.
Yeah, you did
so
right.
Does that resolve some of this?
Yeah, a lot of it, Graham. I'm been quite badly injured over the years in the back, and had some operations and bits and pieces, and I thought my fishing days were over. For that very reason, when you're standing, using your knees, your back, your shoulders, it just was too much.
Right.
With RodAssista, I can hook it on there and I can fish all day again, and it's bloody marvellous.
Cool. It's given you a fishing life back, eh?
Yeah, it has, and it's and a lot of people will be in the same boat. And I know that people struggle. People make good excuses. They want to sit down, have a rest, etc. It's because they've been struggling.
Yep.
With what they were trying to do, and they've had enough.
Yep. What about the likes of kids, you know?
Oh, wonderful. My daughter's 6-year-old.
Yeah.
And she struggles like any kid. And the biggest problem is mums and dads, or especially dad, you take the kids out with you, you've all good intentions of showing the kids how to fish, but when the fishing action starts, the kid sort of goes aside and Dad catches the fish and will help you later. So with my daughter, I've let her have a go, and honestly, she can handle it and catch her own fish. And it's get out of the way, Dad. I'm scared for my job now.
Yeah. And do they still need to use a smaller size rod, or they can use
No. She uses a normal standard 6-foot boat rod.
Right.
Which I thought, we were going to have to downsize.
And she's only 5 years old, isn't she? 6 years old, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and it just, she just makes mince of it.
Yes.
Fantastic. And loves it too, because it works.
So
she's not struggling.
Did you design it initially just around boat fishing, or was it for all types of fishing?
Yeah. Initially boat fishing.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, for Southland, really, like where we catch, we got an abundance of cod and groper and stuff. And it was with that in mind. And it wasn't until we got to probably, got in with you and we designed the thing sort of up market, but away from prototype Z, back shed prototype, into something a bit serious. And then I realised when I watched my father-in-law fishing for kahawai with it, and everyone stood and watched him, it was amazing. And it gave him that fantastic control with a surf caster.
Right.
A 14-footer. And so, now that's opened that up. And as we've proven in our trials, boat fishing, surf casting, rock fishing, especially rock fishing, and anyone that surf casts and stands out in the surf and hasn't got an anchor,
yep,
the RodAssista is perfect. There's your anchor. You're it. You can stand here all day with it in the holder. Same on the rocks where you can't driving into the beach or into anything. You've got an anchor on your side.
And I believe you've got some people that have been using them for trout and salmon fishing in the canals around Tysel and so forth.
Yep, we've I got trials done up there with friends, and they swore by it. In fact, the guys paid for it rather than giving it back. So, for the big trout especially, they're using bait. A lot of them are using bait casting gear, bigger than some are using fly rods, but it's not really suitable for a fly rod because of the short butts.
Right.
We do find that probably it's usable with probably 85% of rods.
Right.
There are some rods with shorter butts, but you can get extensions for them.
Right.
And in fact, one of my surf casters was too long in the butt, and I cut it down.
Oh, okay.
Only I just a piece of wood on the end, took it off, and made it fit my RodAssista, and it just, it was awesome.
Yeah, I think I've seen those extension kits on the internet and so forth through
That's correct,
AliExpress. And
through
any
fishing rod design and maker, they're available through them.
Right. Well, I've got the product sitting here.
You have?
Yes, I have. Just by luck. One I prepared earlier. Do you want to go through it with us, Brian?
Yeah, well, it's made of polymer plastics. It's spring-loaded in the centre pivot here, all 316 stainless screws in it. But the idea of it is when it's on your side, it just pivots. And it goes, it goes with the action of the rod.
Yep.
So as your rod's going up and down, it's doing the same thing. Your rod's in here. You go down, if you want it up, it just sits there.
Right.
The rod will stay put while you deal with bait.
So it'll hold your rod up and you put your arm around the rod and
just have it there.
You've got your hands free for holding the bait and the hook. And,
yep. Bring your bait in, deal with it, take your fish off, whatever it takes.
Right.
Yeah.
And that particular one there, that's for a right-hand wind person, is that correct?
Yep, it is.
So it sits on your left hip?
On your left hip,
yep.
Now, we haven't as yet changed over for a right-hand wind. We've got to redevelop the barrel because you can't just switch it over.
Right.
But that is going to happen. So with a boat rod, anyone that is opposite wind can just turn the boat rod over and wind it backwards, or if they want to, thread the mono on so that they wind the normal way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's one way around it. But in the meantime, we're basically with a right-hand wind.
Right. So, I've talked about this before. So the materials or the polymers that he used, this is actually a 30% glass-filled material, nylon, and this is what's called an acetyl or a polyoxymethylene. Both are fully recyclable.
Yeah, we were hard out looking for that so right the way through the build. We've been very conscious of the environment and very conscious of the wearer.
Yep.
We've trialled padding, but with belts or webbing and against your body and against your jackets or whatever, it's no problem at all. It can be worn in conjunction with a life jacket.
Right.
I've got a horseshoe shaped one, and I've also got the full blow up jacket model, and the kids' jackets goes on right beside. It's not in the way in any way, shape or form.
Oh, excellent.
So it can be worn. Life jackets don't come off because you've got a RodAssista on.
And I believe it's all being designed, developed in New Zealand, manufactured in New Zealand?
Yep, that's correct. It was thought of some ungodly hour of the night off the Catlins about 12 years ago. Few paper drawings. In fact, I've still got the original drawings, which was a bit of a laugh.
They'll be gold, mate.
And it's developed from there. We built the first piece of plywood and a piece of plumber's tube and a U-bolt and a bit of a backyard, sort of a Mickey Mouse pivot system. And it was a real number 8 wire job. But it showed that it could work.
Yes.
And then we moved to I got a stainless steel one. We made that, but it was heavy. It was over 4 kilos.
Yep.
This weighs less than a kilo all up, so you don't even know it's on your side. So then we went from that one to the first of the prototypes of this one when you became involved with me, Graham.
Yep.
And then we've moved up to this now, and where we are, where we're at. And I don't think we can improve on it. We've spent a lot of time and effort on it.
And how have you found your suppliers? Like I know Aerofast.
Yep, we've got Aerofast doing our embroidering and doing our straps for us. We've got the company in who made our mould.
That's Paxton Mould Company.
That
was through School Place.
Yep. And then we've got it's Dawson's Wire.
Dawson Springs?
Yeah, Dawson Springs in Christchurch doing the springs for us. And I must say, they've put a lot of effort into getting the right spring. We've got a spring inside that's got tension as well as torsion.
Yep.
So it's trying to push out, and it's doing its job as a spring. And the reason for that is where we've got it anchored in the bottom of the RodAssista here in the hole. It stops it trying to jump out.
Yep.
It saves any issues at all.
So
So it's been an awful lot of input from.
It's been great, hasn't it? You know, that input from those suppliers and getting it all done locally.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Local, everyone's looked at it, taken a shine to it. What a great thing, and jumped on board with it, and been very, very, very helpful. Really good.
And are there any other products and stuff in the pipeline at the moment, Brian?
Yeah, well, we've got another one which you can see on our website, which is our fish saver slash processor, is what I call it. And it's helps. We've all kicked drums around the deck of our boats.
Yep.
I personally had a third of a 200 litre barrel and 2 buckets and 4 guys, and you're playing bloody, what was it, musical barrels.
Musical barrels, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got rid of those, and what we've designed is for take up vertical room.
Yep.
So if anyone wants to have a look at that, it's on our website. We're also developing an overboard chute for getting the fish back into the water. That's
So not man overboard, but
yeah, well, if they're small enough. But yeah, we have a lot of issues with birds getting the small fish that get chucked back, and it takes its toll on the quantity of fish around. So we're doing something about it, and that'll be on our website shortly.
cool.
Yeah, so we've also got a measure box that's goes pretty much with the processing box, and a bait box, cutting board, etc. And at the end of the day, when your whole day's finished, if you have a look on the website, you put a few coldies in the top box in the ice, and you put the lid back on, and she's a spare table.
All right, well, that's excellent, Brian. Appreciate your time. And folks, that is the RodAssista, and that's innovative fishing equipment. Sustain the strain.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.